Shibata Katsuie, also known as Gonroku, was a masterful general in the service of Oda Nobunaga. Born in Kamiyashiro village, Owari, currently known as Meitoku, Nagaya City. He had served the Oda clan all of his life and spent 40 years on the battlefield. He originally served under Oda Nobunaga's father. After the father passed, he made his choice to serve Oda Nobunaga's younger brother, Oda Nobukatsu. He was part of Nobukatsu's plan to overthrow his elder brother. Katsuie led the charge against Nobunaga, but was defeated in the 1556 Battle of Ino. Nobunaga had his younger brother executed for his betrayal, but could not bring himself to kill the Oda clan's most faithful servant, simply because of a one-time error in judgment. He spared Katsuie and, despite this previous opposition to Nobunaga, Katsuie became a trusted commander under Nobunaga and proved himself time and time again. He is recorded in history for having distinguished himself with a number of masterful victories. His most famous was having fought his way out of the besieged Chokoji Castle during the Battle of Anagawa in 1570, where his troops were surrounded by over 4,000 Rokaku samurai. Shibata Katsuie is said to have smashed the remaining ceramic water urns in the castle in an effort to have his men realise that retreat was not an option. They had to fight and escape, or die in the attempt. Katsuie was not to die an unhonourable, wasting death that comes with being besieged. So trusted, brave and loyal, he was allowed to marry Oichi, Nobunaga's younger sister. He was then ordered to establish himself in Ichizen province and built Kitanosho Castle with a 9-story keep, the biggest in Japan at that time. Brave, valorous, loyal husband and father, with honour that none dared question. Loved by his men and by his wife, thousands looked up to Katsuie. So how did it come to this? When Nobunaga was betrayed and killed at Honnoji in Kyoto, Katsuie vowed revenge for his master. He became involved in a running battle with Tokichiro's army. Outnumbered, his forces' only advantage was their mobility. But nature was also against him, and his men were snowed in and forced to flee back to Kitanosho Castle. With Katsuie facing defeat and surrounded on all sides, he ordered his daughters and wife Oichi to leave the castle and seek shelter and safety. Oichi refused to leave her husband. Surrounded and alone, Katsuie in his desperation uses the last remaining option available to him. His only thought was to protect his wife's honour and life. He used the power of the spirit stones as the blades fell and transformed into a yokai. His power was great, but he had no control. He became unable to tell friend from foe and he killed indiscriminately. Not only his enemies, but also his own men. When we meet Katsuie again, coming to his aid in his most desperate hour, it is already too late. The only thing we can do is to put down the yokai who has taken Katsuie's place and allow him to die with honour. After his final defeat, Shibata Katsuie gives us his thanks and asks us to look after his beloved wife. In his dying breath, he tells his wife how sorry he is for all that has transpired. In his eyes, he has failed her. As he dies, Oichi is filled with grief. Unable to bear the thought of living without him, she commits seppuku, and their bodies are consumed in the fire. History so closely mirrors the story set in Nioh 2. Katsuie really existed, and his honour and victories are written in the official history of Japan. His death is recorded in almost the same manner. He was trapped and surrounded in the castle he built. The castle was aflame and his men were dead. He was left alone with his wife while enemies approached. The records state that both he and his wife committed seppuku and were consumed by the flames in a great fire which was started by Katsuie himself. That destroyed Katansho Castle and prevented it from falling into enemy hands. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing or joining as a channel member to help support the continued production of videos like this. Thank you again. Stay safe.